is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio. PHLV Radio.
On the Dot is presented by Benjamina Mia Casino. Licensed real estate professional since 2008. License number S01669991 LLC. It's a lunch hour in Vegas, and we're on the Dot with Dot and Mia here on PHLV Radio.
Hello, everyone. It's a Wednesday once again, and welcome to the show. Welcome to the studio. We're here at the studio, and I think I look orange. I look like the logo on the Dot. It's supposed to be maroon, UP Maroons, but then that's all right. You know, you can wear some other colored glasses so you can look at me as maroon. Hello, my name is Dorotito, and you're on the Dot. My partner here is Mia.
Hello, everybody. I'm wearing faded maroon, so we'll balance off.
And you have something on your shirt.
Oh,
what does
no,
it say?
Budweiser.
Budweiser. Are you wiser?
Thank you for pointing it out now.
You're wiser, buddy. How's that?
You're wiser, bud.
Yes, you're wiser. You're from UP. You're good. Yeah, so this show is brought to you in cooperation with the University of the Philippines Alumni Association of Nevada, and Mia here is our president.
Yes.
Yes.
Should I invite them already? No,
You should.
not
Go
yet.
ahead.
No. Let's introduce our guest.
Let's
first.
introduce our guest
Yes.
because our topic is
Lumpia is life.
Yummy-licious.
Not kilay.
Not kilay.
For
Lumpia
today.
is life.
Yes, Lumpia
Sige,
is
Mia.
life.
Go ahead, Mia.
Yes, I'm so excited when I read her bio. She graduated from CCA.
What's CCA?
Culinary California Culinary Academy. Yes. And what was your master's again?
My message?
Your master's?
Oh, no, not my master's.
No, I mean your what
Your
do you call
degree.
that?
Your
Your
degree.
degree.
Oh, yes. It's in culinary. Yeah,
in
the degree in culinary.
Okay.
Yes.
I went there. I was so impressed the first time I went to CCA. So
Okay.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And now she has a book called Lumpia. That's the title for today. Let's introduce her. Her name is Nerizza. I just know her by Nerizza, but what is her last name?
Manongdo.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Manongdo.
Manongdo, yes.
Nerizza Manongdo.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Filipinos can pronounce my last name.
Manongdo.
But everybody else says Manongdonado or something.
Manongdo.
So it's so nice to hear my last name. Yeah. Manongdo.
That's the
Okay.
first time I've heard of Manongdo as the last name. Where did it come?
So my husband's name. My husband Manongdo.
What's yours?
Yes, and my maiden is Bisabi.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Okay.
but my
Both
husband's
very-
family, my father-in-law Manongdo, and from Ilocos.
Oh,
The
okay.
family's from Ilocos.
All right.
Yeah.
Chill. Right. Then, what else? She was
mother of two Filipino girls. And then I think you started at the great, why am I so... Bay Area, right?
Yes,
You started
yes,
there.
yes.
And then you moved here when?
Yes, so we moved here about 2 years ago. And we made a big move from big to us, from California to here, Nevada, to Las Vegas, Henderson
area.
And it was just time. It was time to make a transition, something
Yeah.
new, and of course buy a nice home, for our children. That was very important to us.
Yeah.
And but Las Vegas, we knew was the place for us. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
didn't look into working in hotels in Vegas?
So I'm still, absolutely, that would be my industry. That would be
yes.
the natural transition. I've taken the time to settle my family first and settle my children. I wanted to really make sure that they were going to be happy here, make sure they transitioned into their schools nicely, that they were supported well by the teachers, by the staff, that they would make good friends. But yeah, I wanted to make sure that ultimately that they were happy, that my husband's also, he works remotely from home. I wanted to make sure he was comfortable and settled, and that was very important to me.
Yeah.
Because if all of that is aligned, then we can move forward, right, in the things that we want to do and need to do. Yeah.
How old are your kids?
So my older one is 14, and she's finishing up at Del Webb Middle School in Henderson, in Anthem. And my younger one is, she's 11, and she's finishing up primary school at Ellis Elementary in Inspirada, and she will be going to Del Webb. And then my older one will be moving on to Liberty High School. Yeah. And so, so they're doing very well.
Oh, so you live by Inspirada?
Yes, I live in Inspirada, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what brought her to my mind, Mia, for May, is she used to, how did we meet? She's friends with Jen Toray, one of our guests, my cousin. Yes, she's friends with her. And she's also friends with Dr. Abby Hamilton. Speak Up Anak. Remember that?
I remember that episode.
Very powerful book. So they're friends, and she made lumpia for me and my family when she visited our house. Was that last year?
Yeah.
Last year, right? And her daughter is also a songwriter. And we invited her to join
the one
Himig.
That you were telling me.
Yes,
right.
But she
the
didn't
make
she did not make the deadline. But she's welcome
this year.
Absolutely, yes. I was just going to say for the next one, she'll be ready. Yeah, she would love to do it. She writes songs all the time. She's always composing something. Yeah, she learned the guitar during the pandemic.
Wow.
So my husband is a musician, but he showed her, the basics, chords and all that. But she just went with it, and she played every day. And so, it's time to share more of that now. So the next time you have that, I'm going to make sure. Yeah.
And she's also head of her organization in school.
Yes.
Focusing on the AAPI.
She started the first Asian club at Del Webb, the Asian American club there. Asian American, or she calls it
Asian American.
She called it APIC. AAP. Yeah. APIC. Sorry.
APIC.
Yeah.
Asian American Pacific Islander.
Exactly. Asian Pacific Islander Club.
So,
and she was the first to start it.
Wow.
There had never been, as far as we know, there had never been an Asian club before. So I was so proud of her. It was something she wanted to do. It was nothing that we had forced upon her. And I said, let's go. What do you need? And she's created flyers, and she has amazing friends, because her friends took the flyers and they distributed the flyers and advertised the club for her. And I thought, that's so beautiful. Yeah.
Did she get a lot of members?
She got a good number, and hopefully next year there will be a staff member to be an advisor. Yeah, so it can go on.
Right.
Yeah.
But congratulations.
I tell her, you know what? Just start it. Don't worry about whether or not what happens after.
Right. Yeah.
You never know where it can go. So.
That's very cool about Asian mom, especially her and you, Mia. I mean, you have
also.
Well, you have your kids very involved in the community, especially in the Asian American community. I don't have that because they're not here anyway.
And they're bigger also, right? They're more grown-ups.
Yes, so it's perfect because May is also AAPI
Right.
month.
Right. Exactly.
So, how does it feel to be, I know you're proud of her, but how much of what she has done comes from you?
Yeah, it's such an adventure being a parent, right? And witnessing and observing our own children, because in many ways we're also observing and witnessing ourselves, right?
Perfect.
So it's such a mirror to who we are, but at the same time they are free to also be themselves and become what it is that they want to become and choose to become.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, Zara, obviously the musical ability she got from her, from her dad. This social aspect, this outgoing social aspect, she gets from both of us. We've always been involved with our community.
Yeah, so Las Vegas is blessed to have you both here. Not just you and Zara, but your entire family. Especially now that you have a book.
Yeah.
And your book is inspired by Lumpia.
It is.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So prior to coming here, to moving here, my husband and I, we ran a catering business for many years, a Filipino-American catering business back in Milpitas, San Jose, but we served all the cities that surrounded us, Fremont. My gosh, we even went all the way up to San Francisco, and so we did that for many years. And one of my first memories of doing catering, and I was trained by my mother-in-law and father-in-law. So they took me under their wing.
Oh, okay.
Because the catering started with them. It was a family business. But one of my earliest memories of starting the catering was really wrapping lumpia. So I had to wrap like 300 of them.
Oh my goodness.
And she said, okay. And she said, okay, there's a catering event and there's lumpia to wrap, and this is how you do it. So I just remember a big pan, like maybe 5 inches deep of cooked, mixed vegetable filling.
Oh gosh.
And she said, here you go. And then the wrappers, I believe the wrappers were done, because I remember I was just wrapping. And I was just putting it
I'll
in.
have a nightmare.
Rolling.
Yeah, and I was just wrapping away.
You roll,
this is how
girl.
you do it. I know it kind of. I know it sounds scary, but I was just like, okay, well, it just has to be done, right? I mean, it's like who's going to do it if I
And you
don't
were
do
rolling
it?
even in your sleep, right?
I found the
That
trick,
was
though.
later.
Yeah.
That was like thousands of lumpias later,
Oh
right?
my goodness.
Then it was like, okay, I'm dreaming and thinking of it,
See?
everything, right?
You get a
Lumpia is like-
nightmare.
But that was my first experience with the catering. Was I sat down? She says, "This is how you do it." Okay, here you go. You got to do it until all this is done, until all of it is gone.
Oh my God.
And that was and from there every single event, of course, had lumpia. You can't have a Filipino party without lumpia.
Right,
I mean,
so
you can, but
true.
someone will be looking for it,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah.
And I just from there. I wrapped thousands. I mean, after how many years, right? So, and that's the one thing that I just always think when there's catering. Okay,
Yeah.
there's lumpia to wrap. There's lumpia to cook, and there's lumpia to prep, and there's lumpia to wrap.
And she had, you had different flavors, right? You had chicken
shrimp.
and vegetables, shrimp. What else?
Shanghai.
Right. So for the Shanghai, yes. So I do ground chicken. It's usually ground chicken and ground pork. I have one. I hope nobody the book's coming out very soon anyway. But I have
It's a trade secret.
I have a special recipe that I'm giving to everybody, and you're gonna love it. I mean,
This book
after this, I
is a
don't think I
recipe
can take credit. I think everybody's just gonna take credit for it. But I'm giving it because with lumpia, you can be so creative, and this is really, the book is about really opening the doors of all the possibilities of what we could do with lumpia, and not lose it to anybody. It's still ours, right? It's still Filipino, no matter what we do with it, what kind of flavors we do, and no matter how creative we get with it. So when I was growing up, I grew up actually, even though I'm full Filipino, so my mom, of course, is Filipina, born in the Philippines, grew up in Manila, but my grandparents are from Aklan, from Iloilo.
Okay. Kabalo ka mag-Ilonggo?
Yeah, and from Iloilo, they speak Visayan.
Oh, no.
And then
Akianon.
my dad, also, of course, from the Philippines, in Laguna. And but I grew up in a mixed race household. My parents, at a young age, they had separated, but my mom remarried, and she remarried a Mexican. And Ruben, my stepfather, rest in peace. He actually has passed away. But I grew up in a mixed race household,
Right.
and she showed him our Filipino food, sinigang, kare-kare.
Oh.
Dinuguan. He
Oh,
loved
dinuguan.
dinuguan. Oh yeah,
Wow.
he'd be like, babe, where's that beef blood?
Beef
like that. And so she showed him all the stuff, and lumpia, of course, pancit, adobo, and then my stepdad taught my mom how to make some Mexican food like chicken mole, Mexican rice, and I would go to his family's homes during the holidays. They'd have huge vats of tamales.
Yeah.
These huge steamers
Right,
of
right.
tamales and chile verde, and we had a dish that we would cook in the house using el pato. I know if there's anyone who's like Mexican or Hispanic listening, they'll know el pato. It's that little can. You can get them in the regular grocery store. And we would use this, it's a spicy tomato sauce, and we would,
Oh.
and he showed my mom to cook it with like pork pieces, carrots, peas, and we'd eat that with tortillas, rice. And so I grew up like that.
Yeah.
And so my appreciation and love for all sorts of different cultures and foods and cuisines, that was due to that. It stemmed from that upbringing and growing up in a diverse area.
I love that.
I
yeah.
grew up in San Jose, off Center Road, and I went to school with different cultures, not Filipino, Vietnamese,
Exactly.
everybody, Mexican.
Right.
I mean, we grew up around such great food, Yeah.
Yes.
So the book is really it's Filipino, it's Lumpia, but it's multicultural.
Oh.
And that's
And
perfect.
It would have
Yeah.
recipes.
I can't be the only one who grew
You
up
have
in a mixed.
recipes?
Yes,
Yeah.
I
You
have
have recipes
recipes.
in the
Yes,
book?
definitely
Okay.
recipes.
Oh.
Photos. I also give guides on how to prep for anybody who so the book is for anyone who maybe doesn't cook but wants to learn how to cook lumpia.
Me.
Right. And
you just
for,
fry it.
I know how to fry it, but that's already wrapped.
And that's-
that's
yeah.
the wrapped
So,
one, but the one
concoction, yeah.
inside.
and now people don't have to. They don't have to buy it. They can.
Right.
They can just make it if they want. They can use this. Make it. They could spend a day. Right. I know it's a laborious. It's a laborious thing to make lumpia, but they could spend a day and just
Right.
make it on their own and freeze it.
Wrapping.
Yeah.
Wrapping,
Right.
yeah.
But yeah, I know that I wasn't the only one, or I'm not the only one who grew up in a mixed race
Yeah.
household.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And there are plenty of Filipinos who are mixed race, right? And so I just hope that though they especially can identify and just know that even in a mixed race household, we are the Filipino culture,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And we can make it our own.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does your children, any of your girls, cook?
They do. They do cook. Of course, their father and I, we do most of the cooking, but they especially my younger
Help
one.
out.
So my younger one actually, she created a recipe that I put in the book, and it was just by
Nice.
pure surprise.
Nice.
And it's geared towards kids,
Oh,
towards
nice.
children, and it's so cute. And she always reminds me, I gave you that recipe.
The
She's like,
11-year-old.
yes, you did, and I give you credit. I
Should
don't
give
take
her
anything.
credit for that.
Yeah.
Do your
Yeah.
children cook, Mia?
Yes.
Of course.
Yes,
no?
all of them.
Yeah.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, I just want to shout out to my friend Lucy Glazer. She's a good friend of Bing Layton. Each time we have gatherings, she would make special lumpia for me because she knows I don't eat pork or
Oh,
beef
yeah.
or
So
anything else. So
special lumpia.
she would make specific to me. So I'm okay with shrimp or chicken and all kinds of vegetables. So
Right.
I want to say hello to Lucy for doing that. And this is also a perfect segue, Mia, because last week we talked about the culinary.
Yes.
What was
Walbert.
that? Walbert.
Walbert,
We talked
yeah.
about If you watch
Filipino
the show,
heritage.
Filipino
Yeah.
heritage, and he wants, just like you, he wants to bring the Filipino food not just to the table, but to
Global.
figuratively the global table,
Yeah.
and give credit to our ninuno. So perfect segue, no?
Yes,
for
the
today.
origins.
Yeah,
the origins of Filipino food culture.
Yeah, so it's this lumpia is like the origins of your book.
Yeah.
However, we're going to take a break.
Okay.
Are we that fast?
Wow, yes,
It's gone.
yes.
Like how many minutes have gone by? Oh, just 20 minutes have gone by, but we still have a few video clips for our Wait Who What. Our Wait Who What question is...
What is the weirdest comment you received from your relatives? Tita comments.
Tita. Tita, Lola, Tita.
Actually really good.
What
That
is...
could be, oh my gosh, Tita
What
comments.
is the weirdest comment you have received from your relatives? So this brings to mind a song, Because I'm Your Tita, I'm my maldita, something like that. Okay, we'll take a
That's my
break.
song.
That's
We'll
a good
be right
song.
back. So don't go away.
That can be borrowed.
Just like a friend from back home.
This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.
PHLV Radio.
Welcome back to the show On the Dot with Mia and Dot. And I really love our music, our jingle.
I know, it's catchy.
Yeah, I'm feeling like when I have a celebration again, like a wedding
We should
anniversary.
practice the whistle.
I'm going to have that played. Mia,
We
sige
should
na.
practice it.
Mia, sige, talk to us about UP, Mia.
No, first of all, I want to greet
Oh, yes.
our Ipaan members, Tita Ingrid, Tita Sid, and Tito Arnold. Happy birthday!
Yes, they celebrated their birthdays last week, like
Isn't
one
it
after the other.
16, 17, and
Yes.
Tita Sid was
Happy
last
birthday
week. Happy
to
birthday
you.
to you.
And those who are celebrating their anniversaries, happy. Mabuhay.
Yes.
Okay.
And so we just want to invite all the UP alumni to join us at UPAAN, University of the Philippines Alumni Association of Nevada. And you can call me at 702-281-9063 or email me at miaamcasino@gmail.com.
And bring your $50 with you.
Lifetime membership.
Yes. You can-
One-time payment.
You can pay in cash.
Yeah.
Or
Cash, Zelle, and you can
Zelle.
even apply online too.
Apply
to our
online, yeah.
website.
Or you can give it to me.
www.upaanv.com.
The wawawa. Okay, yung wawawa natin. Wait, what? What is the weirdest
comments.
What is the weirdest comment you got
Yes.
from your relatives? Who would like to start? Alphabetical ba tayo? Mia or
Let's do
Nerizza?
Nerizza first.
Nerizza,
Okay.
yes. Nerizza is our guest, by the way. Nerizza Manongdo. Okay.
Yes, actually, I just saw my aunt, who I love so much. She kind of raised me and took care of me, when my mom was working so hard, right? When I was younger, a little kid. But I saw her recently, and she said, "Oh, Isa." Isa's my family nickname.
Yeah.
"Oh, Isa." And we hadn't seen each other in a while. "When was the last time I saw you?" "The last time I saw you was when you were pretty."
Oh my
goodness!
Now, I
See?
wasn't hurt at all, but it was so funny. It was funny to me.
Oh gosh!
And I just laughed it off. I genuinely.
Well, how did you answer it?
Huh? I just laughed. I literally just laughed because it just didn't bother me, because I know my aunt, and I love her, and I really sincerely mean that. I'm not trying to to front, or I just laughed because I just thought, oh my gosh, this is my aunt, and this is just so Filipino.
Yes. For some reason, aunts especially.
We are so body conscious, body image conscious. No?
Sure, the culture is.
Yeah. What about? Can I call you Isa from now
Yes,
on?
of course.
Thank you.
I
That's
was gonna
shorter,
ask if you have a nickname.
Ikaw, Iha, Mia.
Me?
Mia, Iha.
When I first had my boyfriend at 16, so that's Timo, my husband. And then my tita goes, "Hey, don't get married yet, okay?" At 16. And so when I turned 27, 28, she goes, "So when are you gonna get married? They're getting older." I'm like, "So which is which?"
Yeah. Right.
Oh, that's funny. Pero,
But did it bother you?
No.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready at 30. I was like, I'm cool.
Right.
I don't need to get married.
Do you think we're just used to it?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
but
want to
we
ask
are,
them,
yeah.
what do you want? You want me to get married? Or you
Right,
want me to get
right.
married?
Yeah. So I will give my answer after we watch these video clips from people we ask. What's the
The
weirdest
weirdest
comment?
tita comments.
Okay, let's watch this.
Rio, what's your weirdest tita comment?
The weirdest tita comment that I got when I started to go out on social media because of PHLB radio, sabi ng tita ko, nakita kita sa internets. Pero, talagang pang radyo lang ang mukha mo.
Ano ba?
All right, so those are the comments that we got from people we asked around, and if you have your own stories of the worst, probably the worst, but there could be the best, but we're not interested in the best.
They
We're
mean
interested in
well.
the weirdest. Yeah, so mine is not really weird. It's something like yours as well. Somebody said, you're so fat now. You're so tambok now. Nagtambok ka na, no?
Oh, yeah, that's normal, right? With
Okay.
titas.
Nagtambok ka na, no? Tambok is
Yeah.
big or
Getting fat,
chubby.
yeah.
And I said, of course, I'm abundant.
That's right.
I said, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, life is good.
That's
you know,
right.
I eat a lot.
Yeah.
So in
And that's
relation
actually
to
very
your-
true.
Yes.
in relation to what you asked earlier,
Yeah.
Isa, how do you react to that? And you, Mia, are we so familiar with that? Or are we just letting them get away with that? Or do we want to correct them or have fun with them? It's your choice, really. No?
Yeah.
You can be offended or not. Yeah.
The thing with Filipino culture, you have to respect your elders. So even if you want to snap back, you can. So you just keep quiet.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually if you live around your relatives, you really see them just around park gatherings, right?
Right,
So
right.
you're not seeing them all the time where you have to be
yeah.
faced with it.
Correct.
Unless it's like parents, right? Parents doing it, then that could be
Correct.
then that's a different kind of reaction maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all these things, the way we talk to each other, the way we deal with each other, especially during parties, celebrations, because lumpia is ever present.
Yes.
The lumpia witnesses the conversations around the table. So also, that brings to mind what Walbert said last week. He really made a great
Yes.
impact on me last week.
Yes,
When he
yes,
said the three F's:
The
food, family, and photos. Photos that are so like the staples for
Yeah,
us
for our culture.
Filipinos.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So
So
you
true,
have your
true.
food, you
Yeah.
have family, Isa. And then during gatherings, we have photos. We take photos of each other. And that's where we come out with comments about each other's looks. Why do you look like that? Oh, look at her, she's big. Or look at her, she's thin. Either way,
Yeah.
you can't please everyone.
Right, right.
Yes.
And
So
and so now with with these experiences growing up, we are conscious now, right?
Yes.
And especially I'm still raising younger girls, but I'm raising them very consciously, knowing I'm raising Filipino girls, right? And so we want to give them the beauties of the culture, and then also offer them like self-awareness of the stuff that isn't so favorable,
Yes.
right? And we can kind of create a new upbringing. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Create a new upbringing. I love that.
Yeah, and still maintain our culture, right?
Did you
Right.
write that in your book? I like that particular phrase, create a new,
new
upbringing.
upbringing. Yeah.
Is that in your book?
I can put it in. I
Put
can
it
still
in.
add it. There's time.
Tell them it's my
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah.
Actually, I did that with my children too. I'm really scared of the dark. I'm scared of ghosts. And so I didn't bring them up like that.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Mm.
Yes.
it worked.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, so now they're not scared of the dark or they go
Right.
to cemeteries at night.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
true.
do that.
That is so part of the. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I know. That's true. Spirits and yeah.
Another thing that's coming up for me is the transition of our children into American society, because our young man is strongly encouraged. You mentioned earlier blended families or mixed families, mixed marriages, interracial marriages.
uh-huh.
So his American stepdad is strongly encouraging him to move on his own, move out of the house. So
Right, right.
the Filipino mother is torn between, let me have my
Aw.
baby with
Sure.
me. He's the
Yeah.
youngest, he's the last. But also, the other part of me wants to, you should go because you chose this life. You said so yourself that you love the American culture.
Yes.
And therefore, you will have to adapt to it
True.
in much the same way that our lumpia is adapting to our
Right.
American culture,
Yeah,
and the Americans are adapting to our food. So there is that merry mix, and I
Yeah.
really love how the analogy of the lumpia, which is a mix of ingredients, and it comes out yummy.
Right,
You have
yeah.
different stuff in there, so
Right.
much just like us. Our experiences here as Filipinos and our children, it's a merry mix of the flavorful mix of cultures. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking.
No,
Take it
that's
away,
great.
Isa.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Isa. Tell us about your observations of the lumpia in your book.
Yeah. So I can even read an excerpt from it here.
Yes, please do.
And so this is how this is how the book opens, and I'll just read it.
Hi.
Hello. Before we start, there is no right or wrong way to make lumpia. Filipino families may have their own recipe that has been passed down from 1 to 2 generations. If you don't have a family recipe, may this inspire you to start one for you and your family. To me, that will be the best recipe. I often imagine when lumpia was first created by our ancestors in a humble kitchen somewhere in a town in the Philippines, using what was available to them. We continue to bring honor to recipes birthed during the times of our ancestors by cooking it for our family parties, christenings, birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, and funerals. Lumpia is the food that is with us as we celebrate throughout life. And if we're lucky enough, there is leftover for baon.
Yeah.
No Filipino party is complete without lumpia. When we see lumpia at a party, our eyes widen, fingers start to twitch, and we just dive in and grab one.
Yeah.
Lumpia is irresistible. The traditional Shanghai and mixed vegetable recipes in this book are certainly not the end-all and be-all. They are simply ways I was shown and ways I have come to make them. I now share it with you. Lumpia is a labor of love. However we make our lumpia, we must make it worth it and give it lots of flavor, vegetables, seasonings. We must give it our all.
Ay, grabe. I'm getting
Very
goosebumps.
true. Yeah.
I love it. So, welcome to the launch of your book.
When did we expect the book to be out in
So
public?
I have a date, but I want to make sure I meet that. So it's
All
it's
right.
very, very soon. And everyone can visit lumpialumpia.com. And you know, if you just sign up there with your email, I will send out once it's out. It's very, very soon. It's going to
Okay.
print. And these days everything happens so quickly now, right?
Oh, yes.
Because everything's at
So
our
true.
fingertips. Everything's so
Right.
accessible.
Yes.
So we send it off to print very soon.
Yeah.
And then, from there, hopefully we can get it to Amazon and then it can be ordered. So
You know, I have a lumpia challenge. I cook too, but the worst lumpia I made was the lumpia with bean sprout. It kept getting soggy. What's the trick to that?
Right. So it's interesting because the mixed vegetable lumpia that the recipe that I put in here, and the lumpiang sariwa that I put in here, I don't use.
I love
Yeah.
that. The fresh lumpia.
The fresh one, the healthy one, right? I actually don't use sprouts in my recipes.
Right.
So it also depends who's in your life. So my husband can't eat bean sprouts. He can't eat legumes because of gout.
Yeah.
I don't know if you wanted me to mention that.
Oh, that's
but,
all right.
No,
But you know, it's not an uncommon thing in the Filipino
It
culture,
is.
right?
Correct,
But,
correct.
But things like that, like he can't eat bean sprouts and a
Oh.
lot of so
Yeah.
I don't put those in, right? And that's why I offer chicken.
Yeah.
I offer chicken mixed vegetable and chicken Shanghai because he stays away from the pork and the beef and all that, right? So that's what I mean by opening it up, giving more options. But the trick,
Yeah. What's the trick?
yeah. So
The trick.
I love that.
the filling, it's all in the filling. So the filling has to be dry.
Yes,
It has to be
yes.
free of moisture as much as possible.
I see.
And that
Okay.
means
Watery.
prepping and cooking your filling the day before.
So
And
it can dry.
and then you thoroughly drain it. Like let it
Okay.
sit for like
Like in a
3 hours. Let's just let it
colander.
sit. Yeah,
I
in a colander.
see.
Let it, and then you pack it up, put it in a container, and you
Oh,
let
I
it chill in the fridge
see.
overnight.
That's a trick.
And then you wrap the next day.
I'll get my toge.
Yeah, and then for Shanghai, now Shanghai, of course, it's a more
Right,
moist,
right.
but it still will come out. It will still come out nice. You can sometimes add cornstarch to your Shanghai, your meat, your ground meat, if it's too wet. Usually, it's the ground chicken that's too wet. That ground chicken has a lot of water,
Okay.
so you may want to add cornstarch, and that will make it absorb the moisture, and then your Shanghai will be nice and crispy. Yeah.
You cannot back
Yeah.
out from your publishing anymore because
Yes.
Yeah.
You
No,
have
I
made
worked
a
on it
commitment
for a
on
while.
air.
Yeah, and we're going
Yeah.
all the way.
Yeah, yes, we're
yeah.
going all the way. Shout out to Kuya Rex.
Kuya Rex, welcome!
Ano ba yan? You look so, ano yan? Are you?
Nakatoksido ka.
Oo nga, galing naman.
And
All
also,
right.
one more
Yeah.
thing I wanted to mention, I do go over how to make lumpia wrappers in your own home.
Oh, you can do
really?
that.
Yeah, by hand.
yellow
So the
one?
hand technique.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, so I have the recipe here where you make your lumpia dough batter, or lumpia dough, really.
okay,
It's a loose
okay.
dough, very tacky and sticky.
Oh.
But you once you make it, you have it in your hand, and you're pressing it into your pan. And then that's so.
Oh,
I have in here.
wow.
I encourage everyone to at least try. I know that it's
Yeah,
kind of messy,
laborious.
but it is laborious.
Yeah.
But to really connect with the culture, with our and how wrappers were originally made and still made. They're still made that way.
Yeah.
If you go to the Philippines, you can buy them fresh.
Yes.
But I have it in here if someone who's really into cooking and
wow.
not afraid to just get in there, right?
Doesn't want to go to seafood
You know,
city.
and wrappers are wrappers are costly.
Yeah.
They're over
Right.
they're well over $2. They're what, like $2.50, $2.60
It's
a
very
package.
inexpensive to
Yeah,
make.
so if you just take the time, you do have to use them right away.
Is it
Yeah.
corn? What is it made of? Cornstarch?
Yeah, so
Oh.
it's very simple. It's just flour, salt, and water, really.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can make them on your own, but they need to be used right away because they're fresh and they'll get dry. But
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that's also in the
Yes,
book.
nice.
If somebody really wants to really learn how we used to do it. Yeah.
How about the egg? The yellow one, the egg wrapper. You know what they use for the fresh lumpia.
For the
Do you
right.
have the recipe?
So I have the recipe for regular fried lumpia, and I have a recipe for sariwa.
Yes.
That has egg in it. And I have an egg-based lumpia wrapper too. So I have both, like a vegan one and then an egg-based,
there you go.
and then the sariwa wrapper. Yeah. And if you make these wrappers from scratch, they're so crispy. They're delicious. You just have to take the time to do it, but they taste better than the store bought.
Yes.
The store bought wrappers, most of them are vegan now. So one used to contain egg. So I looked at
Soy now.
yeah. So I bought like 10 different wrappers and I tested like 10 different companies, different brands. I know,
Yeah.
right? only
The
someone like me
lumpia
would.
expert.
Only someone like me
Lumpia
would
is
do
like
that.
Isa, lam.
And I found
Lumpia
that
expert.
the majority of them, if not all of them now, do not have egg. And one or two used to be made with egg, but I think because of the food conscious,
right,
the vegan
right,
conscious,
vegan.
that they really want to probably make it universal now, and so that nobody has to worry about
Right.
it.
How about your sauce? You
Yeah.
make your own sauce?
So I do have, yes, so I have the regular Shanghai sauce. But there are recipes, you can pull up a Shanghai recipe like anywhere, and you can't really go wrong, right? You can't truly go wrong. But I have other Shanghai recipes that I make with apricot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like a sweet chili apricot Shanghai sauce.
Yeah.
That
I
is
have
interesting.
I have a kimchi Shanghai,
wow, nice.
a sweet chili
Sauce.
kimchi sauce.
We should invite you to
Spicy.
cater
I
our
know.
events. Do you,
I have
you still
different
accept?
sauces in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still accept catering?
Yeah, I have to think about that because we used to have a big team back. I call it the original, the OG home, right? Back in we had a big team that was able to help us, and so
Mia will help
we
you
would need that,
wrap
in
the
order
lumpia.
to.
No, I found it's it on Instagram. Like, there's a certain way to do it, like 10 at a time.
10 at a time.
Oh, the
video
lumpia
on that,
for the Shanghai.
For the Shanghai.
So right, so I used to I had to make hundreds like for one event, right?
Right.
So I would have this. I'd have this counter, and I'd have like 10 to 20
Right,
across
yeah.
the board,
And then
like
put it
two
to-
rows,
yes.
sometimes three,
Yeah.
and then a piping bag. So I also go over this in the book.
That's what I saw, piping bag.
Yes, if you have to make a lot of lumpia for your party, you should be using a piping
bag. And, then
and
do that.
you should also be using a piping bag for your lumpia seal. I call it a lumpia seal. It's flour and water.
Oh.
So I know back in the day, I know
It's just
egg
water.
was used, but egg is expensive now. It's a little right. It's expensive. It's a messy. It's a little. It's messier, right?
Yeah.
And so
and it's dangerous, salmonella.
right. I mean, you just have to make sure it's fully cooked.
Yeah.
I mean, when you fry it, but
Oh, no, the egg.
or the
To
egg,
seal
sure,
it, yeah.
You're right. It's messy, can get everywhere.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so for mass production, you should be using a piping bag. You should be laying out your wrappers, and doing
Systematically.
that exactly. Yeah, that's how you get more done.
So you
Yes.
don't get nightmares.
Yeah, I remember in college, I was in culinary too. I'd had puto nightmares because of
Puto.
making so many putos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my
I'm
goodness.
Like, no more.
Oh, you're drowning in
Oh
puto.
wow! Oh my gosh!
you're
I love
wrapping
that. You have
lumpia.
to teach me how to make that because I love I love the desserts. Yeah,
I found lumpia in a
but I don't know if you want to
strangely-
teach me. You're going to get more nightmares.
I'll send it
Actually,
to
yeah,
you.
I know, right?
I
You
will
don't have to
teach
show
it.
me.
Anyway, strangely, I found lumpia in a small restaurant in Michelin, Belgium.
Oh, wow.
Served in a
Nice.
Mediterranean
Interesting.
Turkish
Yeah.
restaurant. They
Yeah.
spelled it as Loompia.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I took a photo
Oh,
of the
cute. Yeah.
menu
Yeah.
because it's so interesting. I said, "Oh, lumpia!"
Oops.
Right?
And then I tasted, and it tasted like our traditional
Yeah.
lumpia. So they probably had a Filipino chef
Mm-hmm.
there.
Right,
And
right.
this was like 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. when we
Are we
asked
the
for
only
that.
one?
I've come
who
across
call
it
it?
online that even
I
like
think
the
we have,
Netherlands
yeah.
or I know somewhere some other country. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you were in Belgium. I've seen it too in another country. They have lumpia in
Mm-hmm.
Europe. So it's either Netherlands or Deutschland, one of those.
Yeah.
We have to
Are we
check
the
if it's,
only ones who call it lumpia? Because
I don't know.
Thai have spring rolls and
Right.
Vietnamese
so,
have spring
yeah,
rolls.
we're not the only one. So the Indonesian culture, they
lumpia
have
also.
they also have lumpia. So lumpia is
Oh.
both Filipino and Indonesian. But I'm not Indonesian, so I can't represent the
right.
culture.
True.
Right,
Yeah.
but Indonesians they're I think from what I've seen they also make their own really they make the lumpia wrappers really well too.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I
Interesting.
think I don't know. We have a few more minutes left. And
Okay.
Mia, do you have your quotes
Yes,
ready?
yes. Hang on 1 second.
So
Let me pull it up.
Yeah.
what we have I think we have really achieved a wonderful realization here that the lumpia is that, well, at least for me, that could represent what's going on in our culture. You know, we have this and this and that, and bring it to the table, and everyone enjoys it. So thank you for the lumpia story and the
Yeah.
recipe book
You're
that you
welcome.
wanna I hope we can afford it. I'm sure it's affordable if
It
it's
will be.
coming
It
to
definitely will
Amazon.
be. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we do want to have a signed copy from you, Isa. Yes.
Yes.
Sure, yeah,
Yes,
of course, yeah.
We want that.
And everyone can visit lumpialumpia.com and sign up for
lumpialumpia.com.
updates there. Yeah.
Is that your website?
Yes.
Do you
yes.
have a
website
Facebook-
for the book? Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a Facebook page for that?
Right now on Instagram, I've been so busy. I don't have somebody doing my social media. But if they can go on to lumpialumpia.com for now, and then I can direct them to my social media sites.
Adios.
Yeah.
Very good. Adios.
Adios.
Adios. Adios. Okay, so at this point in our show, and we have a couple of maybe 10 minutes to wrap up. So we talk about the quote that Mia has. And
Okay.
so here we go.
So our quote is from Julia Child. No one is born a great cook. One learns by doing.
Julia Child.
Yes.
Isn't that
The
the,
one
person with a movie with
Yes.
Meryl Streep?
Yes,
or who was
yes,
it?
who was
Was it
starring Meryl Streep.
beautiful? So again, one more time, Mia.
It's no one is born a great cook. One learns by doing.
Ah, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah,
What
the
do you
great
think of
Julia
that?
Child. Yeah, she was
Yes.
the French chef and a trailblazer for women, women chef on television. Yeah.
I find it hard listening to her though.
Oh yes, to her. Yes, she has a really nice French
yeah, and the
accent, and
Yeah.
but she was doing all that at a time when it was just male dominated.
yes.
Yeah. And it was really only until recently when when it shifted over and started balancing, with women. But yeah, she is someone to definitely look to. And yeah, practice makes perfect.
Yes.
I mean, I wrote this because I've rolled thousands and thousands of lumpia. Like I said, it's the memory that I have from catering. Out of everything from catering, it's like lumpia is the first thing that I always think about, and it's the first memory I have. And the repetition of something, right? There's power in repetition of anything that we do.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the quote is very it's perfect because cooking isn't just talking about food
Yes.
or describing it or writing about it. You have to do it.
Yes.
It's a hands-on thing, and I never, I was not a welcome person in the kitchen when I was growing up. My mother would say, "Hey, that's the wrong way to slice this. Don't do this, do that." There has to be precision in food preparation according to how she wanted the food to be prepared. So I grew up not wanting to be in the kitchen at all
Oh,
because I was wrong all the time. Then when I got married, the only three things I learned to do were to boil an egg, boil water, and cook rice.
Yeah.
And from then on, I had to explore the kitchen on my own. So it's for my sister. She went the different way. She pursued cooking because she said, "No way that I'm going to leave the kitchen." So she would prepare all kinds of stuff, and we would have lots of leftovers. So the same energy, the same situation, but two different responses
Right.
to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And you can only perfect a recipe when you do it, multiple times. Sometimes it's salty, sometimes it's bland. So we have to really cook.
That's could be a common thing in the culture. Having like teaching our children, right? I mean, especially if we're just used to doing. I can relate to that. I can relate to your mom, but my kids, they do tell me if they really want to learn something. No, I'll do it.
I like that. Yeah.
And if we want to learn something, and there were, other than Lumpia, there's other stuff that I wanted to learn, and so I would just train myself. I'd watch videos.
Yes.
And if I wanted to learn it, we can take that power back. And say,
Take
no,
that
I'm
power
going
back.
to learn this.
Yes,
I'm going to learn Lumpia.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn how to make pork menudo. I'm going to learn how to make kare-kare, right?
Pork menudo.
I'm going, and if you really want to learn, well, you take the power in your own hands and you teach yourself, right?
Awesome.
Yeah. And you're choosing to connect with the culture on your own.
Ay, galing. Galing. Oh, Mia, how about you? What's your experience of that quote?
As I was saying, to be able to get your perfect recipe, you have to do it multiple times.
Okay.
Yeah, and the mainly how I learned to cook was when our helpers would leave.
Okay.
Because they
Bakasyon sila.
Bakasyon sila, and I would cook, and then my dad would say, it's not good, or he'd make faces. But then when the helper would return, my dad would say, cook what Mia was cooking when you were gone.
Naku,
I'm like,
galing naman ni Daddy. Good Daddy. What are you trying to perfect now, Mia?
My recipe for lengua. I think that's my perfect
Is that
recipe.
lengua estofada? No, just lengua.
It's the one with the mushroom sauce. So I don't know how do you call that, but it's the lengua with mushroom sauce. I'll let you try it. You eat lengua? Oh no, you don't.
No, I
eat
don't.
meat. Yeah.
It's quite a different challenge for us in our own household because John loves meat and I don't eat meat. And the boy, the young man, he's beginning to like meat as well because he grew up eating vegetables. So he has no choice. You don't find alugbate here. Very rarely. It's very expensive sa Seafood City ang alugbate.
Is that seaweed?
It's like a spinach.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a challenge for mixed families as well. Families with mixed interests in food. So I tend to I cook for them both, but I use the air fryer. It's easier.
Yeah,
The air
actually,
fryer.
I'm liking
Sure.
air fryer now. It's
I
less
love
oil,
it.
faster.
Sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
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 Can you
Experimenting with
use air fry
spices.
lumpia?
You can.
Yeah.
So yes. So
But you have to spray some
you spray
olive
some oil
on
on
it,
there,
right?
right?
Para
And
crispy siya.
I have a friend who who air fried the lumpia I had made for him.
I did that
Yeah,
with your
and he
lumpia.
said it works.
Yeah.
He said it works. I think it was like 9 minutes or something like
Yes.
that. Is about that, and it fully cooks.
Would
Yeah.
you include that in your recipe? I mean, how to air fry
to air
lumpia?
fry. Yeah, I don't have it in here, but I can. I did think about it. I
Yeah.
don't. I
'Cause
just
it's the
I
modern
just
way,
try. I
right?
just
Yeah.
traditionally
You can still
fry
add.
it. But yeah, I could mention that. I'll test that out
Ayan,
when
ah.
I get home.
Nag-evolve ang book ni
Yeah,
Isa.
but the air fryer is so great. Yeah, and it's a
It
great
is.
healthy option for
Yes.
everybody.
Right.
We have the instant air fryer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's it for us for today. Look how time flew by.
Thank you so
Oh,
much
one
for
thing
having
also,
me.
sorry.
meron pa.
You can
Okay.
you can freeze it, right? So it stays. How long does it
Freeze.
stay? The
Okay,
lumpia?
freezing the lumpia.
Yeah, I keep it. I wouldn't go past a certain. A few weeks to a month is fine. I think after that, it's starting to get, gets that frost on there, and it starts to look, that white,
Yeah.
that white coloring on there. Then it's starting to get old. And I personally, even when we were catering, they would be made fresh. We would freeze them, but they were not in the freezer longer
A long
than
time.
longer than what, a week. I mean, because they were they were always fresh. So just like anything that you freeze, when it starts getting that white color on there, it's getting a little bit.
Yeah, tama.
Yeah.
Sige. So, would you like to say your goodbyes and greetings, Isa?
Thank you.
Shout out to people.
Yeah, thank you both so much first for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you too.
This is a new experience. It's a lot of fun.
Yay.
And thank you for letting me first, talk about, my background, especially as a mother. That's really important to me. But of course, most importantly, the book that's coming out. And I can't wait for everyone to see it, experience it. And most importantly, I hope that this encourages everyone to cook with their children and to start maybe new memories, creating new
nice.
lumpia recipes for themselves, and passing that down to generation to generation. That's the most important thing, is passing down the food culture to our kids. So I hope this book does some of that. Yeah.
Ang galing,
So,
no?
yeah.
Celebration talaga of our Asian American culture. Diba?
Yes.
It's a great follow-up to last week's event episode. Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
Nerizza.
Yeah, so thank you, everyone.
Again, we learned a lot today.
Me too. I learned a lot
Thank
today.
you.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So they can visit lumpialumpia.com and just sign up there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And don't
Looking
forget the book,
forward to your
Lumpia by Nerizza Manongdo.
Yay.
Right here, you heard it first here on the dot. Okay. Bye, everyone. Mia, thank you so much. Bye, Mia.
Thank you.
Bye, Isa.
Thank you
Bye,
so
friends.
much.
See you next
Bye.
week.
See you next week.
Just like a friend from back home. This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.